Hey friends, so the question in today's video is how have I managed to amass over 100,000 streams on Spotify this year, while also building relationships with music supervisors, landing sync placements on television networks all around the world, and generating a full-time and dependable monthly income? Well, to be honest with you, in large part it's due to the sheer amount of exposure that my music has received by being on Artlist, and by extension, Motion Array as well. So in this video, I want to talk about both of these libraries that I work with, how they differ, why they're important to me, and stick around to the end of the video because I want to outline a few very important things you'll want to know if you're interested in applying to work with either of these libraries. As always, if you want to understand how to write music that's going to thrive on these markets, please go to productionmusicacademy.com and learn more about the membership options. I'll put that link below. We got monthly composing challenges, weekly bonus content, tons of courses in a variety of different genres, and it's a great community of composers from all around the world. That community is growing all the time. I'd love to have you in it. So again, yeah, check that link out below. Okay, so let me break this down. For those of you who are new to music licensing, first of all, hello, my name is Stevie B. Thanks for being here. So let me explain. Artlist is a royalty-free music library. They're based in Tel Aviv in Israel, and they are one of many other royalty-free music libraries out there, but they are certainly one of the most successful companies in the music licensing space, independent from the libraries that are owned by major labels like Universal and Warner. In 2021, they acquired a smaller library, which is called Motion Array, and Motion Array offers more than just music. They have a range of content from stock videos to graphics templates. I work closely with both Artlist and Motion Array, and my music has been a part of their catalogs for the better part of 2 years now. This video is not sponsored by Artlist or Motion Array. There's lots of other libraries out there. I just happen to think that these two are probably the best options currently for your music if you're interested in getting into the royalty-free marketplace. Here's the thing to consider, and really the whole point of this video is to just say this. So one of the reasons I'm really grateful to work with Artlist, and one of the reasons I think that you should consider applying to this library is simply for the fact that they have anywhere between 16 and 17 million users on the platform. And that's just simply like a ton of exposure for your music. Taking a look at my Spotify account, I've managed to maintain somewhere in the range of 22 to 2,600 monthly listeners throughout this whole last year. Right now, it's above 3,000 monthly listeners, which is awesome. I mean, that's the highest it's ever been for me. And I'm happy to report that I just cashed out about $1,000 of streaming money from DistroKid. And just to be clear, I know that's not like anything to write home about. I mean, it's cool, but it's not like amazing. I know there's plenty of other people there that are doing a lot better than me. It's just worth noting that to this day that I've never actively done any kind of playlist promotion. I've never landed like an editorial placement of any kind. I've simply just uploaded my music to Spotify and just kind of let it, live there. I've never paid for any Facebook ads or Instagram ads, to direct my Spotify account or anything. To be totally fair, I do have Spotify links on my YouTube, page, of course, and on my SoundCloud account as well. And occasionally when I do put something up on Spotify, I shout it out on Instagram, and all of those things like move the needle maybe a little bit. But trust me, I did that kind of thing plenty before I ever, joined Artlist. And for the longest time, I swear I think I had 10 monthly listeners. And no one really cared that much whenever I posted about it on social media. So all the music that I have on Artlist, I also upload it to Spotify. Shameless plug alert, go listen to my Spotify account and follow me there if you want. So Artlist has a non-exclusive agreement with their contributors, which means that I can essentially do what I want with the music. I could sell it on other libraries that have non-exclusive contracts. I could upload it to Spotify. I can, do what I want. And that's really convenient for me. And you see, it wasn't until my music went live on Artlist that my monthly listeners on Spotify shot up into like the thousands. And one of the reasons for that is that, content creators were discovering my music on Artlist all over the world, and they were uploading it to their own Spotify playlists. And, some of these playlists have a lot of followers on them, and that started to really push my monthly listeners up. So Artlist is really unique in the sense that it has this like crossover effect on my artist profile outside the platform. It's extra exposure to my work, and ultimately what it means is extra streaming income. Another interesting thing happened to me just a few weeks ago. A music supervisor reached out to me personally, and he let me know that he was interested in using one of the tracks that he had found on Artlist for a television show. And that was great news for me. I was wondering, and you're probably wondering, like, well, isn't Artlist a platform for like YouTubers and indie filmmakers and such? And yes, of course it is, but it's becoming much more clear to me as time goes on that Artlist is becoming so popular that it's much more than just a platform for, content creators. All sorts of folks, working on all kinds of different projects are sourcing their music from Artlist. And the reason that I know this is because I just recently uploaded my Artlist, or some of my Artlist catalog, to a site called TuneSat. Now, TuneSat is really interesting. It, basically scans television networks around the world and shows you where your music is being placed and where it's being used. And, to my shock, I found that I've got placements on networks around the globe. TuneSat offers their services for free, by the way, for tracks, for up to 50 tracks. And you can actually hear the placement of your music. So, for example, this track of mine is playing in the background of this UK Sports Network broadcast.
It's a classified result in the women's uneven bars competition. France's Laurette Charpy takes the bronze medal.
Now, the reason this matters to me is because many of these placements are going to translate into performance royalty income, which is, another important income stream for me as a music producer. Each time my music is broadcast on a network, whether it be, TV or radio, for example, that network is paying a fee to my performance royalty organization, or my PRO, which is SOCAN here in Canada. If you're watching in the States, it would be BMI or ASCAP most likely. Every country has their own performance royalty organization. And if you're a music producer, you should most definitely be registering your music with a PRO. So to the folks at Artlist, I appreciate you guys. You certainly give me a lot to talk about on YouTube this last year, and you've kept me gainfully employed, and I appreciate that. I hope to keep growing with you, and I'll certainly be sending you lots of new music. So I want to wrap this video up just by sharing some very important information. A lot of people reach out to me and ask me about working with these libraries, and I get the same questions quite often. I want to address these questions right now, and I hope that this clears up some stuff if you guys are interested in working with these guys. The first question I get a lot is, Artlist or Motion Array rejected my application, can I reapply? The answer is yes. Both libraries have always maintained an open door policy, which I think is super awesome, and hopefully it stays that way. I know several people who have been accepted on their second or third try. That being said, if they do turn you down, don't apply like a week later. Reassess your work, get some feedback on it, write some more music, and give it maybe 2 or 3 months. Another question I hear a lot is Artlist and Motion Array non-exclusive? Yes, the music you upload to either of these libraries can also be sold on Audio Jungle, Pond5, and any other libraries that have non-exclusive contracts with their contributors. The only restriction that Artlist has is that they don't want you to register your music with content ID services like Identify. On Motion Array, they do allow this, but Artlist has its own content ID system. Another question I hear a lot is, I applied to Motion Array, but my application has been in the queue. It's not moving, and it's been that way for months. What do I do? So you can reach out to them at content@motionarray.com and ask them for an update. They're very responsive. It's important to be patient. They've got a lot of applications in the queue, but it's entirely possible that yours may have been accidentally overlooked. Another question sometimes I get is, my music is on Motion Array, but Artlist rejected my application. Why? So they're different libraries, different branding, and slightly different approach to music curation. To better understand this, I highly recommend just spending some time listening to the public catalogs of both libraries. The one most important thing to consider is on Artlist is that every single track will link back to an actual artist profile with pictures and a bio and all of that. Artlist has a very specific, branding and curation approach. It's something that's very important to consider when you're applying to them. I made a video about that specifically a while back. I'll link it up above. So I hope that answers some of your questions, but please hit me up below in the comments if you have any questions or any thoughts you want to share. Always good to hear from you guys. And yeah, in the meantime, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this content, and I will see you next time. Take care.